Sup, you Eurovision fools, it's Roy and Matt, ES United, your favorite Eurovision channel. Another rehearsal done in the can, and it is Serbia Konstrakta rehearsed for the second time. But y'all, it's the first time we actually got to see it here, those in the press center and in the online press center. And I mean, there's no other way. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Roy, tell us,
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
And I will talk about it because this song, I had a few worries here and there. I'm going to hold my hands up with that because it is all about those lyrics. And these lyrics are in Serbian, and not everyone speaks Serbian in Europe or in the world, but they found a good fix for it. They have decided to put some nice little lyric bars, as if it was like a movie, for example, where you're like watching it in a different language and you want to have it in
Subtitles,
English.
basically.
Subtitles, exactly. I couldn't come up with the word. Thank you. They put subtitles in a little bit of a black box, translated into English. So now viewers from all over the world are able to understand, maybe not to the full extent of that the song goes, but in rough lines what the song is about. And I think they do that very effectively. Has nothing to do with the staging though. That's where we're coming up now. Because
It's important. It's part of the staging technically. So.
yeah, it's a very important part of the
Yeah.
overall package. Basically, the staging itself, basically the performance what Konstrakta is doing with the dancers is staying basically the same. You will have in the ending that 3 of the performers are behind her and 2 are besides her. I don't think that was in the national selection one, but besides that, everything stays quite the same. What they did change, the LED. Serbia was one of the delegations that said it really hurt them that the sun was moved the other way. And they, in this quick time, really got a quick fix because you have like the hands clapping in the background, you have them washing, and like the first time they're like horizontal, the second time they're like vertical, and they really play well with like this grid kind of white squares and the hands being in front of those and doing all the movements. It looks really, really nice. You don't even necessarily notice that they got hurt by the sun. You don't even notice it at all. There is a little bit of a part in the song where it goes like a bit sinister, like nearly towards the ending. They decide to go for red colors instead of the blue and the white that they used through the performance. And they tried 3 different types of reds during every rehearsal. So the first time it was different than the last time and the second time as well. They need to find out which one looks best and which one they want to go forward with. But other than that, I think Serbia is pretty much good to go. And yeah, good job trying to like adjust everything so quickly after the sun was like, it's a no-go. They did really, really well with that.
I can honestly say, and Roy, you may have heard it. I don't know how well it came across earlier, but this may have received the biggest applause so far in the press center. Granted, there may be a few people more here than there were yesterday, but nevertheless, I think there was a very, very warm response to Serbia, especially knowing I came in the second run through. You would think by then people are a little bit more used to it, but it was still a really big reaction. I was quite surprised about that in a good way. Because that means something. People here definitely like what they were seeing. Granted, we're talking about Eurovision fans. Will this work for the average viewer? Because just like you mentioned, Roy, I was also a little concerned about will this get lost in translations? The fact that they added the subtitles. I mean, I wouldn't say genius because, I mean, it is genius because I was always like calling for it often anyways, like make it an option to add that to songs. The fact that they did that, even just giving just a slight idea of what she's singing about rather than saying, why is she washing her hands on stage? It's clever, it's helpful. And people are not turned off by this idea of, okay, we're just doing something very random on stage to be cool. It's a meaning behind it, a message behind it. And it came together so well. And yes, the national final performance is very similar with twirling towels and her sitting there, then washing hands, drying them off, all of that stuff. If you watch the national final, you kind of get there. Maybe some slight adjustments here and there, but for the most part, it's the idea, the concept is exactly the same, and it's the backdrop that they, in short notice, fixed as well, because they had these big clapping hands at some point that they still have, but they moved it in a certain way where they no longer feel like the ass cut off and confusing, and that was really good as well. We saw that, I think, in the TikTok snippet. So they adjusted quickly from what you just pointed out, Roy, the disadvantage of having the sun the wrong way for them, and that came all together. There was just something about this performance when they started clapping, thinking like, okay, clapping, big deal. That was not anything that impressive. People clap all the time at Eurovision, um, but it is different. It has a different vibe, this clapping. I couldn't help myself, but every time I start clapping, you have to clap along. And it's a powerful little thing. And people may remember this clappy song where they sing Bratislava. But just, like it's just people will remember it. I'm still a little bit worried about the juries because it doesn't make the most biggest vocal exercises. But I said before, I truly hope they will appreciate the artistry in it, not just the vocal exercises. And but yeah, I thought overall this was very well executed. There's a reason why it had a big reaction, and I feel a whole lot better about Serbia's chances now of qualifying, because that's what I needed. I feel really good. Now, you mentioned a few things, Roy. So go back to it. What needs to change for the rehearsals?
Yeah, I think mostly it is that red lighting bit. Like there's the sinister part in the song. They just tried three different sorts of lighting in that one. So I guess right after they performed, the delegation looked at all the three footages, which looks the best. They're probably going to implement that one for the dress rehearsal, but they also need to make sure it looks as best as they can. If that is correct or correctly done, then I think Serbia is pretty much good to go. I think personally, if I remember correctly, I preferred the second run through with the red lighting. But yeah, they just need to find it out themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
But for the rest, good to go.
I didn't see the first one, so I cannot comment on that one. But I have other two. I think I like the red one the most. Then the second one as well. So if that's one, the second, third, I will go with number 2. But other than that, I agree with that. I don't think there are any other major changes that I think that Serbia needs to implement. They are one of the few countries that I say you're good to go. See you in the semis. That's basically how I feel as well. So Serbia, job well done. You brought up a lot more confidence in me and Roy, because we had similar concerns when it comes to Serbia. Nothing to do with the song, because we both had an appreciation for it. It's just its odds for Eurovision. So watch the clip on YouTube. Come back here. Leave your thoughts below. Do you agree with us, or are you concerned? Whatever it is, it's fine. We're here to have conversations and disagreements. That's the fun part. See you in the next video.